အားလုံးလည်းမင်္ဂလာပါကျွန်တော်အနေနဲ့ကျောင်းသားမိဘများရဲ့ချိုးကျောင်းသားမိဘများရဲ့တောင်းဆိုချက်အရဒီ GED course တွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်လို့ဆွေးနွေးပေးဖို့ဆိုပြီးတော့တောင်းဆိုထားတယ်အဲဒါကြောင့်ကျွန်တော်တို့အနေနဲ့ဒီကိုယ့်ရဲ့သင်ကြားတဲ့အင်္ဂလိပ်ဘာသာစကားနော် language course ကနေပြီးတော့ language course ကနေပြီးတော့ဒီဘက် GED ဘက်ကိုမျှဝေဆွေးနွေးရခြင်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်နော်အဲ့တော့ဒီ McGraw-Hill education ရဲ့ဒီ GED test ကဒါတချို့လေကျောင်းသားမိဘတွေကိုသားသမီးရဲ့ပညာရေးနဲ့ပတ်သက်လို့နိုင်ငံတကာပညာရေးနဲ့ပတ်သက်လို့သိကြတဲ့သူတွေရှိသလိုတချို့ကြလည်းအကြောင်းမျိုးကြောင့်ပြင်ပလေ့လာနိုင်မှုအခြေအနေမပေးတာပေါ့နော်အားနေတယ်ဆိုတာတဲ့အခြေအနေမပေးတာလည်းပါပါတယ်နော်တချို့ကြလည်းသိတော်ညာလည်းကိုယ့်ရဲ့ဘဝအခြေအနေရမလန်းနိုင်ပါဘူးဆိုတော့ဒါပေမဲ့ပါလဲဆိုရင်တော့ဘယ်ရဖြစ်ပါကျွန်တော်တို့တွေခမန်းလို့မရဘူးအခုအဆင်မပြေပေမဲ့လို့မနေ့ပြန်တော့အဆင်ပြေတာပဲအဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့တွေဘယ်မှစိတ်တက်ကြနေဖို့တော့မလိုပါဘူးနော်တစ်ချိန်ချိန်မှာတော့ပြုတဲ့ကံပေါ့လေကိုပြုတဲ့ကံကိုရဲ့ကောင်းတဲ့အကြောင်းတရားတွေကကိုအတွက်ခွန်လန်းကောင်းသောခွန်လန်းတွေရရှိလာမှာပါနော်အဲ့တော့ဒါကကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ဆွေးနွေးပုံလေးတွေကတရောင်းတနေရာနေပြီးတော့မိဘတွေနောက်ပြီးတော့ဒီကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ video clips တွေကိုဆွေးနွေးမှုတွေကိုဝင်ရောက်ပြီးတော့ကြည့်ရှုနားထောင်ပေးကြတယ်ကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသူမိဘများနဲ့နော်စိတ်ဝင်စားသူတချို့လည်းအားလုံးလည်းကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်နော်ကျွန်တော်သိတဲ့လက်လန်းမီဒီကိုသိတဲ့ knowledge sharing လုပ်ခြင်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်နော်အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်အနေနဲ့ဆက်ပြီးတော့ခုနကကျွန်တော်တို့ဗာလဲဆို to the student နော်ပြီးခဲ့တဲ့အပိုင်းမှာ part 3မှာကျွန်တော် GED preparation for the GED test ဆိုရဲ part 3မှာကျွန်တော်ဗာလဲဆိုတော့ဒါလေးရှေ့အပိုင်းမှာ to the students အကြောင်းသားတွေအတွက်ကိုသူဘာဆိုလိုလဲဆိုတာအကြောင်းသားတွေအတွက်အမှားစကားပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါလေးကိုဆွေးနွေးခဲ့အခုကျွန်တော်တို့ဗာလဲဆို about the GED နော် GED အကြောင်းအရာနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့နော် about the GED ကျွန်တော်ကြည့်အောင်GED stands for General Education Development နော်အဲ့တော့ GED ဆိုကျွန်တော်တို့ကအတူ box စလုံးပေါ့နော် GED stands for a General Educational Development. The GED test is commonly referred to as a high school equivalency test because passing score on all the test sections are usually accepted as equal to a high school diploma. ကျွန်တော်တို့စီမှာဆိုရင်တော့ဒါပါလဲဆိုရင်10တန်း17တန်းgrade 10 grade 11 grade 12ပေါ့နော် high school equivalency နော်အထက်တန်းအဆင့်ပေါ့ဒါကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ပညာရေးနဲ့နိုင်ငံတကာပညာရေးနဲ့ဒါကတော့သူ့ရဲ့နည်းနည်းပါခြားမှုတော့ရှိမှာပေါ့နော် The GED test was developed in 1942 as a way to educate military veterans returning from Second World War. It soon became the primary way adults who had not finished high school could go to college or get a good job. The test was revised in 1978, 88, 2002, and 2014. The 2014 version of the GED test was a major departure from the 2002 and earlier versions. Some key differences are there is no paper and pencil version of the test. Only a computer version is available. Next, there are 4 test sections: reasoning through language arts RLA, social studies, science, and mathematical reasoning. The RLA test has the one extended response question. essay. Next, the text used some technology enhanced question formats that may be unfamiliar to text use. Multiple choice questions have four answer options. In 2020, some additional changes were made to the text. These changes focus on critical thinking skills and reasoning ability. There are more reading passage-based questions on the text for reasoning through language arts, science, and social studies. These questions may ask you to make reasonable inferences, draw conclusions, make comparisons, or strengthen or weaken a position. Format. The current format of the GED is as follows. Sections, number of questions, time limit. Reasoning through language arts. Part 1. Multiple choice, approximately 20 to 24, 35 minutes. Part 2. Extended response, number of questions, 1, 45 minutes. Break. Then answer, 10 questions. Part 3. Multiple choice, approximately 40 to 44, 60 minutes, an hour. Next. Mathematical reasoning. Part 1, no calculator, 5 to 7 questions. Time, no spray limit, 150 minutes for the entire test. And break time. Part 2, calculator allowed, approximately 38 to 42 questions. No spray limit, 150 minutes for the entire test. Next subject, next section, science. One section, approximately 38 to 42 questions, 90 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. Social studies, one section, approximately 42 to 46 questions, 70 minutes. You are not allowed to bring any scratch paper, but will be provided with a set of 3 eraser notebooks. For part 2 of the mathematical reasoning test, the science test, and the social studies test, you are allowed to use a calculator. There will be an on-screen calculator, or you may bring a calculator from home if you prefer. But it must be the TI-30XS multi-view scientific calculator. This is the only model of calculator allowed. For the mathematical reasoning test, you will also be given a formula sheet that has formulas for perimeter, area, surface area, volume, and some formulas that you will need for the algebra questions. Scoring. Scoring. Your GED scores may be interpreted according to the following scores level. Below passing, 100 to 144. GED passing score, 145 to 164. College ready, 165 to 174. College ready plus credit, 175 to 200. The passing score designation on a test means that you have demonstrated skills in that subject area that are equivalent to those of high school graduates. This gives you a high school equivalency credential. A college-ready designation on a test means that you are ready for college level work in that subject area or are ready to begin a career. In addition to any high school equivalency credential, you may also be eligible to enroll directly in credit-bearing courses in a college or university, subject to the policies of the institution to which you apply. A college-ready and credit designation on a test means that you have demonstrated some of the skills that are taught in college level courses in that subject area. This may make you eligible for up to 10 semester hours of related college credit, subject to the policies of the institution to which you apply. Question formats. Do not worry too much about the question formats. The majority of the current version of the GED test is made up of multiple choice questions, which almost everyone has experienced at one point or another. There are only a few technology-enhanced question types that may take some getting used to. Here is what to expect. Drag and drop. Drag and drop questions can look a variety of different ways, but what they ask you to do is use the computer mouse to select an object. It could be a word, a shape, a set of numbers, or another object, and drag it into a correct position in some kind of diagram. If you use a computer, you are probably familiar with the concept of dragging and dropping. It's exactly what you do once you move the icon for a document from one folder to another. Look at the simple question below. Drag and drop the words below into the correct location on the chart. Words that describe the same, words that do not describe the same. Hot, yellow, green, large, extent, freezing. In this case, it's clear you should drag hot, yellow, and large into the words that describe the same column, and green, extent, and freezing into the words that do not describe the same column. Your correct answer would look like this. Words that describe the same, words that do not describe the same. Hot, yellow, large, green, extent, freezing. This is the basic idea of a drag and drop question. You will find many more examples in the practice texts and instructional chapters of this book. Hotspot. Hotspot items appear mostly in the mathematical reasoning tasks. They require you to plot points on a graph or alter a chart or complete a similar task. Here is an example. Click on the grid above to plot the point indicated by the order pair. To answer this question, you have to clipboard your mouse on the correct point on the graph. In this case, you would move one place over along the x-axis to 1. Then move down the y-axis to -3. Your correct answer would look like this. Fill in the blank. This question type is familiar to most people. On the GED test, you will simply type in the correct answer. For example, look at this item. Do not forget to take you, blank, umbrella, your. This question is testing whether you know what to use apostrophes. So your correct answer would look like this. Do not forget to take your umbrella. In this case, no extra feet is required because your is an adjective describing umbrella. Drop and down. Any drop-down item, you will see a blank space, usually in a reading passage. At the start of the space, you will see the word select. If you click on the space over your mouse, you will see a drop-down menu showing several answers options that could fill the blank space. This concept will be familiar to you if you often use the internet. Many web pages have menus, and if you use your mouse to click on them, multiple options appear. Here is a simple example. It's raining out, so you should probably take your blank slate with you to walk every day, to walk to do. If you click on slate and the blank space, here is what you will see. Slate, house, umbrella. It's raining out, so you should probably take your umbrella with you to walk today. In this case, you should select umbrella as the best answer option. Extend as response. This is simply an essay question. That is one extended response question on the reasoning through language arts test. You will see examples in the practice tasks and chapters to come. You will be asked a question and expected to answer it in your own words, typing your response. The question is usually based on comparing two pages. General test taking tips. Question format နော်အဲ့ဒါနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်ပြီးသွားတယ် sorry about GED about GED နဲ့ပြီးသွားတယ် general education နော်အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်ဒီမှာဆက်ပြီးကြည့်အောင် general test taking tips analyze documents you already asked to analyze all sorts of documents on the GED test. The reasoning through language arts RLE test includes both fiction and non-fiction passages. The social studies test includes excerpts from historical documents, transcripts of speeches, maps, political cartoons, photographs, charts, and graphs. The science test includes passages, charts, and graphs. Most of the skills that you will need to analyze these items are the same. Specifically, you will need to be able to draw conclusions from a text. You will need to look at details supplied in the text and be able to use those details to make claims about its meaning. Identify the key features of a text. When you read a document, you need to be able to identify its main idea, the key arguments made, and the conclusion drawn by the author. When you analyze a chart or graph, you need to be able to identify what information is shown and what trends appear in the data. Be sure to read all labels on a chart or graph. Analyze events and ideas. You may be asked to compare different documents or sets of information and understand the relationships between them. For example, you might need to understand cause and effect, meaning you need to be able to see how one event or action relates to another. You will also be tested on your ability to understand how different points of view are reflected in different tasks or sets of information. Use context clues. There may be words or phrases in the passages and charts that you read on the text that you do not know. You should be able to use what you do know in combination with the information in the passage To figure out what an unfamiliar term means, analyze the author's purpose and influences on the author. Social studies and early texts each have a purpose. The purpose may be simply to inform. The purpose might be to pursue. Sometimes the purpose is obvious, but sometimes the author attempts to hide the real purpose of the text. It's your job as a reader to figure out what the author is trying to do by understanding the historical context of the passage and looking at the kind of arguments that author makes. You will need to be aware of bias, which means a prejudice in favor of a certain position of an issue. Bias is a clear one. One the purpose of the text is to pursue, but it can be present in texts that are meant to be informational. While reading a text, you should think about who the author is and what concern he or she might have that would color the text. Distinguish fact from opinion and supported claims from unsupported claims. While reading a text, notice how the argument is built. Is the author relying on hard evidence from reliable sources, or is she studying her own opinion? If the author makes a claim or draws a conclusion, is it well supported by either logic or evidence? Is there not enough evidence, or is the evidence too weak? Analyze and understand content from different sources. Texts are not the only documents you will need to understand and interpret. There will also be graphs, charts, maps, photographs, artworks, cartoons, and other material. Some of what you see will be primary sources, which means they are direct results of the event they deal with. For example, the text of a short story by Kurt Vonnegut is a primary source document. A photograph of the US Civil War battle is also primary source. A secondary source is a source of information about an event that is produced after the fact. History textbooks are good examples of secondary sources. You will need to understand how these different types of sources relate to each other. Read critically, read carefully, focus on the main idea, the structure of the passage, and the author's tone. Use your eraser notepad to take notes about what you are reading. Draw conclusions. What will happen next? If you had to choose a title for the passage, what would it be? Why did the author write this text? Who is the audience meant to be? Think like a scientist. Be analytical and not just on the science text. For any passage, what's the author's hypothesis? What are the dependent and independent variables? Are there any possible sources of errors in the argument or plan? How can errors be minimized? Identify trends in data. This is easier to do over the graph, but you will need to be able to do it over the chart as well. What is the largest data point? What's the smallest? Are there any intersections between different data sets? Analyze arguments. Does the author adequately support his or her position? What questions do you have about the argument? What additional information would strengthen the argument? Use process of elimination. The best part of the good score on the GED test is simply knowing the material. However, no matter how hard you study, there will probably be some questions that throw you for a loop. In those cases, you need to have some testing taking strategies ready. Certain test taking strategies have been proven to help take test takers, particularly in solving multiple choice questions. The GED test still relies mainly on multiple choice questions, so keep the following in mind. The correct answer is staring you in the face. Remember, the great thing about multiple choice questions is that the correct answer is right in front of you. You just have to identify it. You do not have to try it from your memory or come up with it on your own. Use this fact to your advantage. Use the process of elimination. On the GD test, there is no penalty for wrong answer. So if you don't know the answer to a question, you have nothing to lose by guessing. If you must guess, you can improve your chances of guessing correctly by using the process of elimination or POE. POE, process of elimination. Think about it this way. On the GED test, multiple choice items have four answer choices. If you just guess randomly, you still have a 1 in 4 chance of being correct. What if you know that one of the answer choices is definitely wrong? Go ahead and eliminate that option. Now you have a 1 in 3 chance of guessing correctly. Your odds have just improved considerably. If you can eliminate two options, you're up to a 50% chance of selecting the correct answer. That's even better. Here is an example of how this works. Use the passage for item 1. Texas is now ours. A star and stripped may already be said to have taken their place in the glorious blazon of our common nationality. And the sweep of our eagle's wing already includes within its circuit the wide extent of our fair and fertile land. He is no longer to us a mere geographical space, a stunning combination of coast, plain, mountain, valley, forest, and stream. She is no longer to us a mere country on the map. She comes within the dear and scare designation of our country. Other nations have undertaken to intrude themselves in a spirit of hostile interference against us for the avowed object of thwarting our policy and hampering our power, limiting our greatness, and checking the fulfillment of our main fast destiny to overspread the continent allowed by providence for the free development of our yearly multiplying millions. John L. O'Sullivan and Annexation, the United States Magazine and Democratic Review, 1845. 1. What does O'Sullivan mean? 1. He claims that annexing Texas is part of the manifest destiny of the United States. A. The United States has a divine right to spread across the North American continent. B. Adding Texas to the Union can help stop the spread of slavery. C. The population of the United States is destined to grow and strengthen. D. Texas is destined to have the Union win the Civil War. Let's say that you have no idea what manifest destiny is. Reading the passage, you will tell you that it doesn't seem to have anything to do with slavery, or the Civil War. Just realizing that one thing allowed you to eliminate answer choice B and D. Now you have a 50-50 chance of getting the question correct if you have to guess, not bad. By the way, manifest destiny is the idea that the United States is divinely destined to expand across the entire North American continent. This doctrine was believed by many to justify the annexation of Texas. Watch out for extreme answer choices. When you are using the process of elimination, be wary of extreme words such as or, every, or none. These are unlikely to be the correct answer. What is the difference between these two statements? A. Everyone likes vanilla ice cream. B. Many people like the vanilla ice cream. Statement A is extreme. It can be argued. I'm sure somewhere there is someone who doesn't like the vanilla ice cream. Or would you argue what the statement be? You can't really. What does many people even mean? How many Bashi go? Let's go there. Let's look at an example from the early test. One, based on the speech, what generalization could be made about the possibility of long-term economic growth? A, the goal of any government is long-term economic growth. B, it may be preferable to provide some short-term growth in order to achieve long-term growth. C, long-term economic growth is simply not suitable. D, some private companies see long-term economic growth as secondary to immediate profits. Wait, we haven't even read this passage. We don't even have this passage. Still, we can use process of elimination to get rid of any extreme answer choice. Take a look at choice E, the goal of any government. That means all of them. Not likely. What about choice C? No long-term growth ever, no matter what. That's pretty extremely too. We can eliminate both those choices, and we are down to only two. That's a 50-50 chance of getting the correct answer, and we don't even have the passage. Find the answer in the passage. Since the GED test now feature more passage-based items that require critical reading and thinking skills, it's more important than ever that you are comfortable finding information in text and drawing conclusions from what you read. Here's a good news. The correct answer is always right there in front of you. Every correct answer is based on something in the text. You won't need any outside knowledge or supernatural powers. Here are the most important skills that you will need. Know how to locate information in the text quickly. You don't have all day. You can't afford to read the entire passage every time you need to find something. Use the question to help you identify some keywords to scan for the passage or in the passage. Paraphrase information. The best way to do well on passage-based questions is to answer the question in your own words before you look at the answer choice. This means this means you will need to paraphrase what you read in the passage. Verify your answer choice. When you choose an answer, you should be able to point to the spot in the passage where it says that same thing. Focus on the main idea. If any question about a specific detail, we will basically be asking you how that detail relates to the main idea. When you first read the passage, find the main idea, keep it in mind as you answer all the questions for that passage. Have an awareness of the tone of the passage. Often you will find two answer choices that basically say what you are looking for. The difference may be the tone. If the author is writing persuasively, the correct answer may also have the persuasive tone. Use the answers. You probably will not know the answer to every question. That's okay. For most question types, you can use the answer choice to help you. Let's look at an example for this, which is study stats. One, which is the following is an example of the freedom that is granted by the Bill of Rights. A, the magazine advertisement encourages people to join the Coast Guard. B, an 18-year-old girl registers to vote in an upcoming presidential election. C, a television host publicly criticize the performance of the government official. D, a man is apprehended after he broke into a home and stole a television. Maybe you can remember everything that is in the Bill of Rights. Maybe you know the Bill of Rights really well, but you think there are too many rights listed in it to know where to start. You've got to use the answers. Read through them and see if anything rings a bell. Choice A and C seem to be about free speech. Choice B is about the right to vote. Choice D doesn't seem to be about the right. So eliminate that one. Now, which of A, B, and C do not think do you think is granted by the Bill of Rights? You probably remember that free speech is in the Bill of Rights. So let's look at A and C again. Choice A is about an advertisement and choice C is about someone criticizing the government. That might jar your memory of the first amendment, amendment, which states that the government cannot restrict freedom of speech and freedom of the press. Choice C is the best. On some math questions, it may actually be easier to walk backward. If a question asks, what is X? And you solve for X, how do you know you are right? You plug in the value you found for X and see if it works. It might be easier to just try each of the answer twice for X to see which one works. Let's try it. 2. The mean of the data set below is 8. What is the value of X? 7, 3, 14, X, 6. A, 5. B, 8. C, 10. D, 13. 4, 11, 4, 11. If you don't know how to find the answer to this question directly, walk it backward. Try each answer as the value of X. To find the mean of the data set, we add up the values of n and divide by the number of values. There are 5 numbers in this data set, so we will divide the total by 5. Add up the numbers we know so far. 7 plus 3 plus 14 plus 6 is equal to 30. A, X is equal to 5. So the sum of the ideal set will be 30 plus 5 to 35. Is the mean 8? No, it's 7. Try again. B, x is equal to 8, which is probably a trap since the mean is 8. Let's see, 30 plus 8, 38, which isn't evenly divisible by 5. Try again. C, x is equal to 10. So the sum of the data set will be 30 plus 10, 40. Is the mean 8? Yes. We found the right answer. Estimate values. You will see the questions that involved math not only on the mathematics tests, but also on the science tests and the social studies tests. You can save yourself time and effort if you know that you can estimate your answer. Some questions ask you to approximate, but it may be possible to estimate even on ones that don't. Let's look at an example from the mathematics text. 1. A gallon of paint will cover about 400 square feet. To the nearest tenth, how many gallons of paint were Arlene need to paint the top of the circular tube with a diameter of 12 feet? A. 0.03 gallons. B. 0.28 gallons. C. 0.49 gallons. D. 1.13 gallons. First, we need to figure out how many square feet a tabletop is. The formula for the area of the circle is A is equal to PR squared. Since the diameter is 12, the radius is 6. A is equal to P into 6 to the power 2 is equal to 36P. You can probably do that much in your head. Let's keep doing that and skip the calculator. We can estimate the value of Pi as 3 pi. So the area is about 108 square feet. The question asks how many gallons of paint Arlene will need if a gallon covers about 400 square feet. She only needs to cover 108 square feet, so she will need about quarter of the gallon. The only answer close to that is the choice B, adjectives. Read the text carefully and think before you write. Your job is to analyze the two arguments and discuss which one you find more persuasive and why. Use your erasable notebook to outline your extended response. Think for a minute or two about what you want to see, in what order, and how you intend to support your opinions or assertions. Make a quick outline. It does not have to follow a formal format. Just know where you are going with this response before you start typing. Organize your response. Make an outline and stick to it. The classic 5-paragraph essay format works beautifully for an extended response. Begin with an introductory paragraph that sums up each of the two arguments and states clearly which one you find more persuasive. Then write 3 body paragraphs, each detailing a reason why you choose the argument you did. Finally, write a conclusion paragraph to sum it up and restate your position. Use clear, simple sentences. On the extended response question, do not try to get too fancy. You can always make sure you are being grammatically correct if you keep your sentences simple and clear. Don't use big vocabulary words just to show off. Proofread your work. Once you finish your extended response, read through it carefully to make sure 3 or no obvious mistakes. Time management tips. Keep in mind on the clock. The GED testing software as a timer that will appear in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. You can minimize the timer or keep it in view. Do not minimize it. Keep your eye on the clock, especially toward the end of the test. Timer cannot be minimized during the final few minutes of the test in any case. You definitely want to know when the time is running out. Pace yourself. As an example, you have 90 minutes to complete the science test. You should be working at a pace of approximately 2 minutes per question. If 30 minutes have passed, you should be on question number 14 or 15. After 60 minutes, you should be on question 29 or 30. This pace will leave you a few minutes at the end of the test to return to any questions you skipped or flashed. Do not get hung up on a difficult question. It may be tempting to keep wrestling with a difficult question until you have it mastered, but remember that you do not have all the. You have a set amount of time, and your goal should be to at least attempt every single question on the test. If you do some good math based on the time limits and question totals, you will see that the longest you should spend on any given question is about 2 minutes. If you have been struggling and coming up empty for 3 or 4 minutes, mark an answer and click flag for review. Then move. You probably have many questions ahead of you that you can answer correctly. So go get those points. If you have a few minutes at the end of the test, you can return to flag questions and think about them a bit more to try to make better guesses. Save the last 5 minutes for guessing. When the timer shows 5 minutes left, mark an answer for any remaining questions. Then return to them and use process of elimination to make more educated guesses. If you have no questions remaining at the 5 minutes mark, return to any items that you flagged and see if you can make better guesses on them. Answer every question. The GED test that does not penalize you for wrong answer. They simply count as zeros. So why miss out on possible points? Pick something, even on a fill in the blank questions. Put down some kind of answer. Never leave a question unanswered. Test details. Test details. Once you have completed all your preparation work for the GED and are ready to take the test, it will be useful to have a pre-test and test it checklist. This will all sound like very common sense advice, but you will be surprised at how often people do not prepare properly for testing. Even though testing may be quite a long way off, we have included it here so that you know what to expect. Pre-test. 1. Congratulate yourself for having prepared yourself thoroughly for your test. You ready? 2. At least a day or two before the test, make a dry run at getting yourself to the test-taking facility. Are you sure you know exactly where to show up? Not just which building, but which room on which floor. If you are driving, is there parking available? Where and how far from the facility? How much does it cost? What is the traffic light at the time your test is scheduled? Is there gas in the car? If you are taking public transportation, do not know the quickest, the best route to your test taking facility. 3. Plan to arrive 30 minutes early. Yes, that seems like it's a very early. You are expected to check in 50 minutes before your scheduled testing time. So you want to leave time for unexpected events. If you are early, if you are early, so what? Sit down, relax, and visualize yourself adding that text. As in the text. If there is an expected road construction, or if the subway or bus is delayed, you will be glad you had a little time cushion. You do not want to arrive barely in the nick of time, and you don't stay up all night studying the night before the test. ညလုံးပေါက်စာမကြည့်ပါနဲ့ Go ahead and review a little, but a good night's sleep is more beneficial than last minute cramming. Testing. Eat breakfast or lunch or whatever meal comes right before your test time. Just do not let yourself go into the test hungry or thirsty. 2. Dress and leaves. Some testing facilities are as cold as freezers. Others are as hot as ovens. Be ready for anything so you can stay comfortable. 3. Bring your photo ID. 4. If you are using your own TI-30XS calculator, bring it. 5. If you are taking multiple tests on the same day, bring a snack for during breaks between sections. Maybe a bottle of water and granola bar. အဲ့တော့ဆရာတို့ဒီပိုင်းမှာပဲခဏနားပါမယ်เนาะပြီးကကြမှာ how to use these books to set up a study plan ဒါလေးကိုဆရာတို့ဆက်ပြီးတော့သွားပါမယ်เนาะအားလုံးကိုကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်